I see now. I apologize for that. I have not been hearable this entire time. Uh, I apologize. Don't know exactly where that came from, but glad that we have that fixed now. Finally. So, as I have been trying to say here, just going quick through these bans and picks here. Just looking through, Ziggs ban has been Ziggs and Lysandra have obviously been target bans here towards Flopper Goblin. On the other side, though, the Nunu is a ban towards Akella, has been playing that pretty much exclusively in solo queue. So it's not a surprise to see that away. The Kaisa also just very, very strong. Rel first pick gives us the opportunity to flex that, which still has not been confirmed either way. The Rel can go into that jungle, can be a very strong support as well. But PSE Nightfall, they have locked themselves into a two-threat composition here. They have the Ezreal and the Kindred with a Braum and Gnar front line. And these are really slippery, hard to kill AD carries that also have that front line. I like what PSE Nightfall is putting together here. The issue that they can run into is if they do not hit their item breakpoints on these champions, they're going to struggle going up against something that will be as beefy as the Rel or as the Rumble can get with those new changes to the Rumble. So that is something to keep an eye on. The Ashe is going to be picked up, and it is the Melio. So this does mean that we're going to get the Rungle going on. So Rel in the jungle, which I am very happy about because I think it's very fun and I think it's interesting and I like seeing it. So I'm going to be a little bit vain about this and enjoy it as we are waiting for a mid laner here for PSE Nightfall. Also, want to give just myself a shout out here. I am the only person running the stream tonight. I have Thousand Eyes. I am solo casting and running the stream, doing everything on my own right now. So you'll have to forgive me if things start to go awry because they very well could be, as the Ahri is going to be locked in here for PSE Nightfall, which has just been a really solid pick to just be a not a keystone, but be something that fits into a lot of different key compositions here. Has the mobility, has the ability to catch people out, and also is just, once again, a solid backbone of damage. Now, PSE Nightfall, they do have a worry here in terms of if they do not have the Mega Gnar, you're going to run into issues in terms of tankiness, and you're up against an Ashe that can choose when to engage, a Rel that has really solid engage. There's a lot here for Mythic Competitive to try and work with, as we are going to start to see the actual draft get underway, I think, here pretty shortly. But just looking across the board here, it is going to be Mythic Competitive with what I would say is a lot more of a skirmishy team composition. I think both these team comps pretty skirmishy, but PSE Nightfall with the Mega Gnar, they have that team fight potential that they can play around. Mythic Competitive, they have the Tristana, they have the Ashe, they have the ability to start fights when they want. They have the ability to jump in, jump out with the Tristana. They have the Rumble to set up fights alongside the Rel with the ultimate to keep them in that equalizer. There's a lot of things that Mythic Competitive can play around, but their actual front line is a little bit lacking when PSE Nightfall are going to have that front line of the Mega Gnar and the Braum. That said, though, Mythic Competitive have a really strong team or laning phase here. So Tristana against the Ahri. Ahri will wave clear a little bit better early on, but Tristana has really solid kill threat if that charm ever misses from Ahri. And Tristana also just really strong at taking those towers. So if you do see Ahri leave, I would expect Demolish on this Tristana, and she's going to take a lot of tower plates, which can start to have her hit a scaling point. And then you roam around with the Rel into some of these other lanes, and that's a big threat that you have to keep an eye on. It's the lockdown, it's the damage, it's the full combo that can really run a risk for PSE Nightfall to have some issues. On the other side of the coin here, we are going to be the Gnar, obviously really solid into Rumble, has the ability to kind of just keep that range. The only thing that is really a worry is that flash from the Rumble. However, once again, it is that flexibility. And We are not talking pro level of play, so there is variability in how you're going to be able to get that Meganar, and you have to play around that well, because if you do not have Meganar, you have four squishy champions and a Braum who is not going to be the beefiest, right? He is still on a support budget. He's buying he's buying items rather that are going to be less effective than a top lane tank. So it is very, very important that this Meganar is online when they need it to be. Both these teams, I think, have solid win conditions. It's really just up to the execution here. And if PSE Nightfall, if they can weather the storm, if they can take the fights on their terms, they seem like they're in a pretty solid spot. It's also just the fact that Ashe Melio, really strong lane. And yes, Ezreal Braum, like, it's safe. You're not really at risk. Ezreal can shift away. Braum can jump to the shifted Ezreal. But Ashe Melio is just scary because you get the extra range from the W, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when every auto attack is slowing you, it's just that much further that you have to stay away, or you run the risk of getting completely run down in this bot lane. And then you add in the possibility of a rel gank on top of that. It's going to be a rough time. Even if you are an Ezreal, even if you are a Braum that can dash to one of those 80 carries, it's not exactly the safest opportunity. And obviously, PSE Nightfall with the Kindred, they're going to be looking to get that fourth stack. That is always the big thing with the Kindred. So that is another number that we need to keep our eye on and we need to keep checking, because if you do end up with that Kindred never hitting that fourth stack 20, 30 minutes in, that is a champion that is, it's like a lesser extent of unevolved Kayn. You're not a full champion until you get at least that baseline of stacks so that you can unlock your extra range and start hitting your scaling. Without that, Kindred is going to struggle a lot, and that is not what you need here. Rel will be able to out tank an Ahri Ezreal alongside having that Rumble, having that Melio protection as well. If you do not get this Kindred off the ground, it is going to be a bad time. But with that, I think we're going to take a quick break as we get ready here for our first game of the night, guys. Don't go anywhere. Game 1 of Mythic Competitive versus PSE Nightfall. It's going to come at you right after this. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are getting into game one of the night here. So we are seeing the competitive on the blue side. We're seeing PSE Nightfall on the red. A little bit of level 1 shenanigans. The Braum, obviously very good at doing such, but they are going to get just chased away. So you'll see a pretty standard start, all things considered. And things should just even out from there. Now, it is important that we keep our eyes on this, not only Rel, but also the Kindred. So right now we are seeing the Rel and Kindred start on opposite sides of the map. And this is, I think, pretty solid here because I don't think Kindred wants to fight the Rel early, at least not in terms of trying to go for kills here. I think the goal really is just to try and trade, get the marks if possible, because you're not going to really kill a Rel before the rest of the team is going to arrive. So you're going to see both of the blue buffs started leashes across the board, and things will get underway. And like we said, too, keep your eyes on the bottom lane here. They are going to have a rough time of things because you just have so much slow potential here from the Ashe Melio. Now, so far, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot here because things are just going to be pretty standard. Nobody has crazy pressure in the early game. But as those level 3s start to hit, that's where things can get a little funky. Gnar can start harassing out this Rumble more. The bot lane here can be more and more of a problem. We're seeing the Rel actually go for an invade here, looking to steal away from this Kindred. Now, granted, you have the Rumble and the Tristana pushed up here. This is not the worst thing in the world, but it's really going to be tough because they still are going to have that Gnar and Ahri show up. And I would argue that they're, at this point in the game, a little bit more functional champions in their own. Now we're seeing Tristana move up, pushing Kindred away here on the map. And that's actually going to be huge. Rel does get that red steal and get away with it. So you usually think about the Kindred stealing other people's camps, but this time around, it is the Rel getting that red buff and just taking more away from the Kindred and slowing her scaling. And that's a really great start and really good team play from Mythic Competitive there to know, okay, we've got pushing lanes. We've got the ability to follow up. So I'm going to go in and trust my team on this. Now, Kindred is going to try and go for a gank now to try and punish this. Is seen on a ward, so is not actually going to be able to make it work. Just going to go for the stack that has spawned here on this top Scuttle Crab. So Kindred at least getting lucky on the coin flip here. Oh, Rel actually trying to fight this, but at this point, waves have crashed. Ahri's able to follow, and Kindred does get the stack. Bot lane here still just getting a little bit of action. Both our jugglers now going to just keep on this bot side. Now, Rel has a lot to farm here. Kindred's going to try and go for the double scuttle, which is good, but Rel has a lot more to try and farm. No, Rel is actually going to contest this, and Melio is here for it. That is going to be smited away by Apollo. Does get out, but has to flash for it. So that is double scuttle grabbed. Now, Flopper Goblin getting a lot of damage on it. MTC Frost, who's backing away. The Braum stuns are hitting Canadian Will, having to flash as well as Akella. Also running away. Braum stun is going to hit, and no way out of that one. First blood going over to Flopper Goblin. They're going to continue to chase on to this Ashe. Don't think they're going to be able to get her there. Continuing to push forward, slow from the Kindred. They're going to keep going. The charm from the flash. Flopper Goblin with the 2 kills. And that is a great start for PSE Nightfall. A really good roam over to make sure that the Kindred did not get punished there. A little bit late as Apollo did have to flash away, but the re-engage there, just so strong. And Braum passive forcing out multiple flashes and confirming a couple of kills in the process there. The Braum has done so much work, and Flopper Goblin has to be very happy with that because it means the Lost Chapter already finished there. This is all before we even get any ults on the board here. Top laners have hit that level 6. So the pressure now does exist on both sides. We're also seeing, Dragon is up and alive and ready. Now we're going to see this Tristana go in. The charm hits, but Flopper Goblin, you can see the damage that this Tristana can put at a moment's notice. Charm be damned. I love Selena Gomez, and that is not the equalizer that you want to see. Just jumps out of the way of it, flash away, but the burn is a use of the Gnar, but not going to hit the wall. Doesn't need it. The damage is enough. I see I love Selena Gomez get the first kill up on that top side, and that is going to shift things now. You have both a mid and a top lane winning for you for PSE Nightfall, and that's what you need for a Kindred. You need that capability, because now you're looking at where these stacks are coming in and you're saying, all right, Gnar's stronger, so I'm going to go top and I'm going to take that Gromp because I know that this Gnar can follow up and keep me safe. Same thing with the Ahri. Now, granted, Tristana obviously really, really strong at this point against the Ahri, but the gold value to at least match this Tristana is very strong. We're going to see Rift Herald's... No, Rift Herald has not spawned. What am I saying? Goodness, golly gracious. As Akela's going to actually come from up top here. Don't think they were expecting that one, but Akela does not have the backup just yet. There it is Lil Uzi Bob backing away to the Ezreal. And Awaken just going to push away the rest of MTC. And that is a little bit of a failed gank there for the Rel, but do just get to back away and take it. Now, Kindred up at the top side. Apollo Potato looking to go in. Gnar starting out with the damage here. Kindred will show. It's not going to be a kill, I don't think, but they are at the least going to go for this dive. A little bit of tower damage to Apollo. It is going to force a back once again for Gabanet. This Rumble doing okay in the farm department, but still has dealt with a lot of pressure. And he's giving Gnar the opportunity to become more of a problem. Remember, both these top laners, they're going to hit their strides in these team fights. Gnar will be able to split push pretty solidly, but what we're really looking at here is Gnar to be a frontliner because you have so much extra damage on your team. You're either looking to try and split push while this team tries to fight more skirmishy fights, or I think with the Gnar, you have the opportunity to go for some pretty strong team fights yourself if you're feeling up to it. Reset's going to come through as we're going to see our second buys for most of these champions. Ashe still stacking that call as Ezreal also stacking up a call himself. PC Frost going to jump in, dodges out on the charm, and once again, just half health gone immediately from one combo. This is why you're seeing the Tristana mid. This is why it has been so powerful on this patch. It's just so really strong. As that is a charm missed, and that is going to have to be Flopper Goblin dashing away. Ultimate used from Akela. But at the end of the day, it is an ult for ult trade, and Flopper Goblin ends up having to use theirs defensively. Now, a top lane, we're seeing the Gnar use. This one does hit the walls. I love Selena Gomez going in. Equalizer is pretty solid, but the Rumble's still low health. Flash from Apollo Potato. Has to use the die another day. Will try and keep alive and try and kite this one out, and will succeed in doing so. That is going to be Apollo getting a kill for the Kindred. Now, I want to actually check here where we are at for stacks. That is the 4th stack already. Apollo is already online on this Kindred. This is terrifying for Mythic, because the one thing that you really did not want to have happen was this Kindred getting online early and having the ability to impact the map early on. And this is very early for a Kindred 4th stack. So now, with this, Kindred has extra range, has that ability to pressure just a little bit more. and it's not going to be a fun time. Mythic, they're on the back end here. Obviously, we've seen now 2 times this Rumble go down. A third gank also being pretty successful in pushing this Rumble away. Has just not had the impact that they want yet. They're looking for those team fights most likely where they can combo it with the Rel. It's going to take a little bit to get to that point right now. WCat tossing out the volley. Just looking to get a little bit of damage down. Granted, this bot lane will scale really solidly. The kiting potential of Emilio with the Shurelias on top of the extra range, on top of the Ashe slows. It's really difficult to try and run down an Ashe in this situation. It's just more an issue of, are they going to have the damage? Tristana is capable. There's the jump in. The charm does hit, but Flopper Goblin getting the better end of that trade. Bomb does not do anywhere near enough to combine with that. We're going to see the dragon started. Ashe ult is now used, and that is actually Akela stealing away the dragon. A nice ultimate in as we're seeing WCat try to put down damage. It's just not there yet, though. The Kraken is not online, and that means Flopper Goblin going to dive in, gets exhausted, looking for the charm. Will hit it. Insta cleanse from WCat, who's continuing to back away. A flash to follow, and Flopper Goblin gets another. Exhaust used on Emilio just for the slow, and they're going to get that one. Apollo probably dead for that, but will get the kill on the Emilio. A nice equalizer on the top side, though, and that is the Gnar used defensively. Flash for flash, and I love Selena Gomez getting back to the tower, dodging out on the harpoons, and will survive. And overall, it is a dragon, and I believe an extra kill. No, I think it was about even, actually. It is all over the place. But the dragon and the kill there on that bottom side, really big to try and turn things around. Now Flopper Goblin hitting that Everfrost, just needs the auto, will get it. The Q misses from Akela, and that is Flopper Goblin again getting so much damage. We're hitting the point where these waves get shoved by the Q easily, and the Everfrost on top of that, just so strong. This is where Tristana is going to struggle now because you have so much pressure now from Ahri. Usually Tristana would be able to control this lane a lot longer, but because of the inflated gold that this Ahri has gotten, it's so difficult now. You don't have that capability. Another tower plate to Flopper Goblin. And yeah, they're going to go for the TP. They're looking for Rel to go in, but the Ahri ult is available. Flopper Goblin's just going to dash away from this. There is actually going to hit, and they're actually going to get the damage down. The dash does not come out in time, and Flopper Goblin does end up going down. A little bit of a misplay there. Opportunity to dash away, just a little bit too slow. A lot of pings coming into this dragon pit area. Not going to be spawning for another couple minutes, but Scuttle Crab going to be taken. Shift forward. Awakened actually, I think, a little bit hit by that one. And unfortunately, minion blocks for WCat keep the Ashe from running back the other way. Things are starting to slow down just a little bit here. You can see Frost a lot of damage on this mid lane turret. We take a look at the gold here. We'll make that attempt here. Let me see there. All right, looking at gold here. It is actually even for this Tristana against the Ahri. However, it is a lot of plate gold. It is a lot of farm compared to the Ahri, who has been getting a lot of kills. What the 2K advantage really is here is partially on this jungle, is partially on this top lane. So it is the Kindred and the Gnar that really have the item differential here. We're going to see that up on this top side right now. Kindred wanting to steal away the blue buff. Not going to succeed in doing so, and that is a stack taken away from this Kindred as Gnar going to move around. Ashe ult does miss. We're really looking for our next objective here, and that is probably going to be this dragon spawning in about a minute 30, but for the time being, objectives be damned. It is power in the hands of PSE. Kella looking for another gank, but there's a Braum here to provide protection. So everything working out, I think, in PSE's favor. And this is a little unfortunate, too, because this is a team on Mythic competitive that you wanted to see win decently in lane. You know, you had the Tristana, which did fine, but did, you know, obviously this Ahri got a lot of kills fed to her. You're looking at the bot lane, the Ashe is 0-2 right now, just has not had the ability to fight with this Melio. Will start to hit a point where that Shurelya's, that damage will be at least threatening. But it's not the same. It's not the same as if you had like a Jinx putting out damage. It's not the same as if you had that Kai'Sa putting out damage. There is a Kelly going in on ultimate from the Rel, and they're going to go in on a little Uzi Bob. WCat trying to kite around that, but the speed is just not there. The damage is just not there. Awakened backing out to the tower, and Apollo Potatoes coming around for the re-engage. WCat very low health, down to a quarter, and still having to run away. The slows to try and keep the Kindred at bay. A nice Q from the Melio's Canadian Whale. You take a little bit of damage, but should be able to survive. No, they execute there from the Kindred. So Apollo picks up a kill. Didn't get the Ashe like you wanted, but a kill is a kill nonetheless, and it's just as the Hextech Dragon spawns. That is just a crazy turn of events there. A failed engage from the Rel. Not even a failed engage. I don't want to say a failed engage, because the engage hit. But the Ashe damage just isn't hitting yet. It's not strong, and you don't have enough with the Ashe Melio alone to take out this Braum. And all it did was buy time for this Kindred to come around and take that away. So once again, PSE, they get the dragon. Great for them. And now we're, you know, just delays soul, which I think at this point PSA are kind of fine with. As long as they're not giving objectives away, as long as they're making it longer and longer that Mythic have to take in order to become relevant in this game. That's where they want to be. Apollo show up on this top side. I love Selena Gomez has TP'd in. Gonna try and get the damage down. Rumble, not very tanky, going to be hit, and that is going to be another kill. I love Selena Gomez gets that one mid lane. Bit of an engage onto the Braum, but the damage still not hitting. Engage from Frost jumping over there, but nobody to follow up with it. And Braum's just going to dash away. So at the end of the day, Rumble goes down. Nothing happens in the mid lane. And that's going to start up the Rift Herald on that top side there. As it is PSE once again, just happy with the turn of events. Kella pops in with a Q, doesn't get it, and now they are up to go on to the run. Canadian Whale flashing away, but the damage is too strong. Can't get away from this Gnar, and the insta Gnar in response there. Uzi Bob now in a little bit of trouble. Will use the ult, will use the locket, and that means it is time for everybody else to come over and clean up. Frost having to run into the enemy jungle and just buy as much time as possible. I love Selena Gomez going to try and run down this Tristana. Should have the damage. Yeah, there is the boomerang, and now Frost knows he is done for. Will fall. Damage done, but not enough for a kill. And Rumble again going down. This Rumble has not had the impact that I think Mythic Competitive were looking for, and it has been a huge pain point for them. Oh, come on, Apollo. You got to tank that, buddy. Come on now. We know better than that. But like I said, it's this Gnar has hit split push potential. That is a possible win condition now for PSE. The Kindred is strong as hell. The Ahri is strong as hell. There's so many win conditions that PSE have, but Mythic, their win condition is trying to play the long game with this Ashe, Melio, and Tristana, and utilizing that to kite teams out, to make picks with the Tristana maybe, and try to get a Rumble across with this Rel. It's 0-7 from the jungle and topside right now. The equalizer and the ability to tank for an equalizer just is not there. I'm going to take a quick stack check over for Apollo. It is 7 stacks for this Kindred at 20 minutes. That is a lot of stacks per Kindred at this point in the game. And with these waves starting to push in now, it's gonna get easier for Kindred to take these objectives here. There's more stacks to take in the enemy jungle. And it's very likely, too, that we start to get to a point where it is the neutral objectives where the stacks are coming. Manamune also completed here for the Ezreal, and that is a huge breakpoint for him. That's where his damage starts to get really, really strong. And we, again, do not have the tankiness here. We're seeing the Rel buying support items. These are not full tank items. These are items that are going to struggle in this situation. We're seeing Gabonet. I think it's more goodbye at this point as Rumble going to use the ultimate, not going to get anything out of it. Can't even get him down. A noticeable amount of damage. There's another kill, and with that, no equalizer, no worry about a fight for this Baron. Instead, it's going to be Baron started up for PSE. Doubt this is really going to be contested too much. We're seeing the Assault actually used. Now Rel going in, but the damage once again still not there. WCat too far away, and that's going to be the Rel going down. And now everything scatters. Baron be damned. We do not care. We're going in. Flopper Goblin just trying to run through the exhaust. Hits the charm there, and the cleanse has already been used. A nice Lamb's Respite to keep Frost from getting the kill is Apollo. Going to help get some more kills around the board. There's going to be Baron started up again, but this time less people to threaten you during it. So once again, I think we're going to be seeing the Baron go down. Dragon up as well. Everything is for the taking for PSE. They have controlled this map extensively. And I want to take a moment here to just point out the sheer number of Triforces that have been built by PSE. And maybe this is the plan, right? Maybe it's just Triforce is a broken item. Let's pick as many champions as we can that can use that item. Because 3 Triforces is a lot. After the Bax dragon going to be picked up. That is the second dragon of the night for PSE. And the Baron Siege will begin. And it's, once again, just what do you do if you are Mythic? A nice dodge here from Mythic Frost, who's going to try and turn around onto Flopper Goblin. It's the Ash Arrow used just for the disengage, and that's not what you want to use it for in this comp. You would love to be able to use it aggressively to make picks, but it's just not happening. Meanwhile, mid lane, a lot of pressure on this tower from Awakened Friends. They're going to take that tower down as the full rotation comes, and the inhibitor is going to be next on the menu. I love Selena Gomez looking for the Gnar. I think they're just going to go for the disengage, run over here to this other tower. As WCat has to be very careful. One wrong move. There is the ultimate we've been waiting for. An equalizer across multiple, and that is the Lucy Bob going down, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as the Rel goes as well. Frost having to jump back away and not able to get any more kills. So the perfect engage hits, but they only get 1 for it, and they do not have another engage button. The Rel is gone. They can't continue on. TP now coming in from the Gnar, and this is a mini Gnar, but it does not matter. It is a 4v4 that they do not have any want of taking for Mythic. The Baron Siege will continue. They're just going to take this tower down. So there's Flipper Goblin on the outside there, just having to use the ult defensively, but does successfully push away Mythic from this tower. And that's going to be what PSE take with this. And most likely the last use of this Baron here is going to, the buff is going to fall off here in about 30 seconds. Right now, it is just going to be picking up the loose ends here. Red buff going to be shared between the 2 marksmen on this team. And the money just trying to be collected as much as possible here, as seeing the rotation up towards this top side. It is the only real open opportunity here as WCat will have to reset here. DC, no problem. Does not matter. We will start back up in just a second. Just a second. Right, you're lying to me? Okay, thank you. Now, Kella, jumping away, the charm missing. But this is kind of the power here, is now we're seeing another pickup here for this Kindred. It's just so incredibly powerful here. We're going to see 10 stacks on this Kindred. No, 9 stacks, sorry, on this Kindred. Because there is our freeze that we expect. Hi, how's everyone doing? This happens every pause, if you weren't aware. Is an issue with the spectator client that has existed, I think, for multiple years at this point and still has not gotten fixed. The siege is going to now start on this top side turret as another inhibitor is looking to be the goal here. Minion waves not as powerful as they once were, though. Baron not on any longer. You can just see now also PSE kind of just looking to control as much space as they can. The jungle is a threat. You can't even see Mythic go anywhere. They have to use the hawk shot just to make sure the rotations aren't happening, that this Tristana is not in danger. A nice flash charm, and that's going to be gone again. And that's the tower as well. And with the equalizer gone, a big team fight opportunity gone as well. Flopper Goblin using the dash in, not going to hit the charm, but it's enough damage on Frost that you have to jump away. And the other tower going to fall as the inhibitor is open. And the top lane inhibitor going to go down just about now. And with 2 inhibitors down, the end seems all but nigh. PSE will move over, shove these waves in, and start to rotate to take this last inhibitor, it seems. We're going to jump it over the wall. At least everyone that can. Arya Nar heading over, taking the long way. A nice ultimate on a WCat. And once again, the damage dealer's just taking damage. Melio down to half health. The engage can't really happen. Akella's looking for it, wants to go for it. An equalizer hits, but it does not go on to any champions. And they're going to hit the engage. Apollo Potato uses the Lamb's Respite to stay alive. And it's enough of a heal. The health bars are getting low for these threats, but Apollo Potato stays alive, and Flopper Goblin gets the heal with the passive as Frost goes down. I love Selena Gomez just hitting on these towers freely, hitting on to WCat now, who has gone under, but now the towers, 2 towers is a lot, as Flopper Goblin also going to fall. I love Selena Gomez and Flopper Goblin dead now. Shutdowns over to WCat, but it seems like it might be a little bit too late. There is the disengage, so some money into the Ash pocket here, but it's not exactly what you want yet. You're still down 12,000 gold here. 14,000, actually, as another dragon's going to get taken, which puts PSE on soul point. All super minions down every lane for PSE. And they have to push this one to end soon. Dragon going to be taken. And I would assume with these respawn timers, we're going to go over and pressure the Baron. And there's nothing you can do as Mythic at this point. There's no options. You can't leave the base because your base will die. But the Baron can be the final nail in the casket here. If PSE can take it and push in for the close. Very strong, calculated game from PSE here. So we're moving over towards that Baron now. Waves have been pushed out a little bit, and an inhibitor has respawned here for Mythic. But again, waves have not been pushed out enough to feel like they can actually contest this Baron. As that's going to be looking like it's going to just be taken for free. So we're now 10 stacks on that Kindred. Teleport onto the bot side here for Flopper Goblin just to keep the pressure on. They feel strong that they can take a 4v5 while Ari pushes on that bot side. And they're actually going to have Nar move up on this mid lane as well. They want as many waves of Baron to up minions as they can. Inhibitor down to half health. And again, this will be the third inhibitor gone again. So full inhibitors down. It's going to be a while before any of them come up. Gabbana gets hit by the charm again, and the dash forward will be enough as Flopper Goblin gets another. As now the Rel engage happens, but again, no equalizer this time and no damage to follow up. Ash is in the base, so Rel just falls, and it's all PSE for this game as they take the Nexus 26-5 across the board. PSE looking dominant. A lot of control from PSE. And honestly, a really, really impressive game here from them. I went in not really knowing which side was going to look stronger. I think I have an idea at this point. I think I am aware now as PSE just complete control of that game from the beginning. And it's really unfortunate too because Mythic picked picked champs for their composition that really wanted to try and win early, and they weren't able to really do so. Tristana had control a bit of that mid lane, but the roams from the Ahri were enough to get an early 4 kills, and that just undid all of the lead that Frost had built. Top lane never got off the ground from the pressure of this Kindred, from the pressure of this Gnar. And Ashe, because of everything falling apart, no opportunity here to really hit the damage items needed to actually become a threat. So that is going to be our first game going over to PSE. But the game's not over yet. The match is not over just yet. We do have at least one more game here. PSE, they're looking to close it out for the 2-0. Mythic, they don't want to let that happen. They want to try to go for the 1-1. But we're going to take a quick break as we get ready for that game. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be right back just after this. All right, and welcome back, everybody, as we are now getting into our draft here for our second game of the night. We have seen teams swap sides right now. PSE Nightfall taking the blue, and on the red will be Mythic here. Right out the gate, we're seeing the Nunu ban once again. Not a surprise. Mythic taking out the Aatrox this time, which feels a little out of left field. Generally, the first ban that I see from teams that are just lost is something that they just lost against, not a champion that did not exist in the game and was not picked or banned in the previous game at all. Regardless, the Aatrox will be the ban. Sejuani also taken away, so they're very much targeting Akela this time on the side of PSE Nightfall. Now, this time, PSE Nightfall on the blue side, they don't have to ban that Kai'Sa. They have more opportunities here to go for the bans, which is probably why they're swapping in the Sejuani here. Because I would expect, if we do not see Mythic ban that Kai'Sa, probably going to get picked up here by PSE Nightfall. Lissandra taken away as well. So that one, at least, reminiscent of our Game 1 bans. So it is a target ban once again to Flopper Goblin, who looked great on the Ahri last game. Really solid stuff. Just really good early lead, turning that into more. And is actually PSE Nightfall banning out this Kai'Sa, which is interesting to me. I'm assuming this is just Awakened saying, I do not want to play Kai'Sa. It's a strong champion. The champion is, like, I think objectively the best in the game right now, but that is going to be the Kai'Sa off the board from Nightfall, and they're going to pick up that Maokai first. Now, it is important to note here, we do see Spoobert coming in as the top laner this time around, who is their main top laner. So we are seeing a different, we're not going to be seeing the same Gnar. We're not going to be seeing I Love Selena Gomez, which is a very hard name to say when you're trying to cast. But I did it. But we're not going to be seeing it this time. And he's going to be Mythic Competitive, taking the Ahri here and taking the Ezreal as well. So Mythic Competitive starting to build up that same type of composition that we did see from the from PSE Nightfall on that red side. And maybe that could be the key. Mythic Competitive did have a bit of a struggle. Now, granted, PSE Nightfall, they had a lot of champions building Triforce. I don't think we're going to be seeing the same thing. I don't expect a Triforce from the Maokai this time around, but we are seeing a Zed lock-in, and that is a very aggressive, strong mid lane pick here against this Ahri. Not what you usually see. This is a very feast or famine pick here in this mid lane as a response. We're also just not used to seeing mid laners pick this early. I get that the Ahri is strong and very blind pickable. Zed is one of those responses that can be very strong into it. However, you know, Ahri's still pretty safe, all things considered. Zed, though, once again, if Flopper Goblin gets another 4 kills, it's even out more for this Zed. Like, Ahri did really solid with the 4-kill lead. You get a Zed with a 4-kill lead, there is one person on the other team that does not get to play the video game. Khan also going to be locked in here for PSE Nightfall, as that is also one of the stronger supports in the game at the moment. A lot of flexibility, a lot of capability to engage, a lot of capability to peel and keep an AD carry alive. So the Janna lock in to go with this Ezreal in the bot lane. That Janna is trying to be a response to this Rakan. You can hit that tornado and try and stop and engage here, but it is very difficult to hit that timing. So outside that, you're just really looking to reset and re-engage here off of that Monsoon from the Janna. Look at it, bans right now. The Xayah is gone, as that does mean the Lovers Duo not going to be really powerful. Thank you guys for the raid, Nameless. Appreciate that. We are in the middle of game 2 for everybody who has come in, as we're drafting for game 2 rather. PSE Nightfall looking dominant in game 1 in a 26-5, I believe, victory. Just slowly choking them out and taking the win here. This time around, we're seeing Mythic Competitive pick up a lot of the champions that PSE Nightfall did take in game 1. But we also do have a little bit more of a counter pick style here from PSE Nightfall. They are going for this Zed in response to the Ahri. So we are seeing a little bit more aggression. And we are seeing the Rel band away. We did see a Rel jungle in our last game, which does give us a little bit more, I guess, a little bit less strength in terms of our tank junglers here. The Sejuani already gone, the Rel gone. Those are really, really your big ones there that you'd like to be able to take. Mythic, though, looks like they're probably going to try and take the jungler here, I would assume, as they'd love to have that top lane as the counter pick. Question really becomes what, though? Because you still would like a frontliner here. You want somebody who can tank here, but they're not going to go for it. It is going to be the Graves lock-in here, which Akela, I believe, has some experience on. I will have to double-check here. Yeah, it does have at least a game this season, which I know it does not sound like a lot, but we're also, not even 2 weeks into the season. So, cut some slack. It was also a good game. So, credit where it is due. But it is going to be that for Mythic Competitive, and it's again, just not the front line here. The Draven picked up for PSE Nightfall, and that is locked in. So that is going to be a really, really strong damage output from PSE Nightfall. However, that Draven goes down, a lot of your damage is gone, right? You do have the Maokai, you have the Gragas. Gragas can be a threat, but Gragas is not going to one-shot anybody unless Giga-fed. The Zed can take out one person, but you have the Ezreal, you have the Graves here. This Draven is the linchpin of this composition. If you can find a way to take this Draven down, it can turn the tides here. Mythic looking to pick up a top laner, most likely into this Maokai. And it's looking like a Malphite lock-in here. And that's going to mess me up because those are both champions that have the same sound to the start of their name. And I'm going to mix them up a lot. Not looking forward to that one. But regardless, that is our final lock-in here. So we do have full compositions. Obviously, Gragas, Maokai can both jungle. I'm not expecting to see a Maokai jungle. Actually, I don't know. This really could go either way. Both these champions are more preferred in the jungle, I think, at the moment. But I don't know. We'll see. Spoobert probably going to be locking in one of those early on here. I'm trying to take a look here. Okay. No, it's definitely... Sorry, I mixed up my players here. It's Gabonet that actually plays the Maokai. It is... The Gragas is actually a Spoobert champion. So that is probably a Gragas top lane. My apologies there. And now, it is up in the air, right? What do you do if you are Mythic? You have a level of a win condition, kill the Draven, but it is not that simple. Malphite, not really a winning lane into either of those matchups, really. But most importantly, to the Gragas. Malphite does not have a way to get up 2 waves in the same way that Gragas can to clear. And as such, Gragas probably going to control that lane. And the threat of a Maokai gank is strong enough that you do have to be worried about it. Zed, going to be a threat at all times, especially post 6 to this Ahri. And that's already 2 of your lanes in a weak point, in a threat to be taken down. Then you go to the bot side here. Ezreal, Janna, they have the ability to poke. They have the ability to be strong. But they also have the ability to just be pushed in by the threat of this Rakan Draven. Draven's damage hits a spike a lot earlier than expected, especially compared to something like the Ezreal, where you want to hit those 2 items. You want that man immune on top of whatever Sheen item you're going. And I think this is going to be a little bit tough here. Nightfall looking pretty confident. Now, it is worth mentioning, I would argue last time around, Mythic we're the team that had the stronger picks here in terms of the early game. So I'm going to move us over to the champ select scene. I apologize. I forgot about that. I am running once again. Good to state for the new people. I have been running everything myself, and I'm casting by myself, so things are a little bit hectic. I'm a little bit all over the place, but I don't know if there is a solidly winning lane for Mythic here, and that's scary because one, Graves wants to have a winning lane. Graves wants to try and invade. Graves wants to be really strong and be a nuisance to the enemy jungler and try and skirmish a lot because that's where he really does threaten people. On the other hand, though, you don't have a winning lane to play through. And that concerns me a lot. Now, granted, we are at a level of play where these are lane matchup expectations, not hard set rules. Ezreal Janna could just poke out Rakan Draven and boom, all of a sudden, that's a winning lane to play through. Zed could just get poked out a lot by the Ahri. All of a sudden, the Zed just does not have kill pressure. Malphite, that dude's screwed. He's going to lose that lane. I don't have an answer for that one. Maybe, I guess if you go Comet, maybe you can poke him, but Gragas heal is too much. Malphite's screwed. That one's set in stone. Other two lanes, there's a possibility. And I think while it's not great to lean on the possibility of that, it is at least something you do have in your pocket. And if you're feeling strong on these champions, you can just say, like, you know what? No, I'm going to take this Ahri and I'm going to win. I think I can beat this Zed. I'm not worried about it. Or you take the Ezreal and say, you know what? No, I'm not worried about Rakan. I could shift away from him. I can poke this Draven out and we can win that. That is an option for you. But it is an option that is risky to take. And I think PSE feeling pretty happy with how this draft has gone. But with that, we're going to take a quick break here, guys, as we get into our second game of the night, our possibly final game if PSE can close this one out. Or we'll see if we go to a game 3 here, guys. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 is going to start in just a few moments. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're into game 2 now. PSE on the blue side. Moving as a unit for our level 1. Uzi Bob. Gonna lead the way as it is going to be opponent moving out and away. Nothing gained. But on the other side, we're seeing the pressure in on to that red buff. Probably a word just going to get dropped here. So we will have knowledge of where this Maokai is going to be started. I know I've said it before. I'm going to mix up Malphite and Maokai right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to happen. You cannot be upset at me because I have stated it. It is a thing that will occur, and we're just all going to accept it, all right? But Maokai going to be starting out on this blue buff, it looks like, and Ward will spot him out when he moves over. This lane's going to get underway. Both junglers starting on that top side. And once again, it's really, really important here for this Draven to get something going. This Zed to get something going here early. If things come out to be even in this mid game, it is a very different game. So right now, it is just going to be clearing out both of these junglers once again, just kind of clearing out on this top side. Looking like they're going to be pathing onto the bot side here. And it is a little scary here. Ezreal, you've got the shift. Does not matter if there is a Maokai coming, though, because that Twisted Advance is point and click. Right now, once again, I kind of expected this as much. The threat of the pressure here of the engage. Going to be pushing back this Ezreal Janna for the time being, at the very least. Does mean Draven Rakan just get free control here. Bot side, or sorry, top side rather. Malphite already out of mana here, and I'm going to be a little bit critical. As somebody who does play Malphite, you should not be spamming through your Qs this early. You Q on the mana flow and the arcane comet cooldown. If both of those are down, if one of those is not up, you hold your Q. If you manage that, you get enough poke on, it's not a problem. And you also keep your mana up here. So I think a little bit of nerves hitting on Gabonet here. Kella showing up onto this blue buff just as the Maokai is finishing up the red here. So pretty easy clear here. Graves just wanting to pick up the scuttle before moving back over to the rest of that jungle camp here. Awakened just continuing to farm up here on this bot side. Now, Graves moving up towards this mid lane. Maokai in the bot vicinity here. Maybe looking for a lane gank. Maybe just looking for the counter. So there's a little bit of the engage here. Double glacial across both champions there. Looks a little goofy, but Apollo has moved into this bush here. Now they're actually going to be resetting over to the Scuttle Crab area, which has already been taken. Rakan looking to go in and harass this Graves. They know that the Graves has not taken this buff here. There is an engage from Lil Uzi Bob. Maokai not in there to follow up. Mid lane also getting a little bit finagly here as they're starting to lose out on health. Apollo is here for this. Awakened coming around. Damage is here, but it is Awakened leading the charge, and the axes have fallen, so you do not want to take this fight anymore. Once again, Apollo now looking for revenge from last time's red buff here. We'll get that. And a nice W flash flopper. Gonna die for it, but gets the first blood and gets the minions into the tower. So it is an experience and a gold lead going over to the Zed. Flopper with a really nice play there. Isn't that? Zed, just easy pickup there. And that is the Tiamat picked up there for the Zed, which is a really important item in this lane, because that is going to give at least some level of wave control to the Zed that does not exist otherwise. It's going to be even more important once that once that full. Why am I blanking on the name for that item? So Charm is going to hit actually from Frost. Ravenous Hydra. Don't know why that one escaped me. Once the Ravenous Hydra is finished, that is going to be even more of a pain because the abilities will apply that cleave and just gives a little bit more push for the Zed to be able to counteract the orb from this Ahri. Top side, it's just big guys being big. Gragas controlling this lane as expected here. I think most importantly, the Malphite has not died. And that is the big thing. Malphite hit 6, Malphite TP bot, Malphite get kill. A little bit of posturing here, a little bit of damage here. Spoober, I don't know if you want that one, buddy. You lose out on that trade. Tower is at least a threat. Now we see a little bit of roams here. Lil Uzi Bob has been very active on this map too. And this is not only just a level of Lil Uzi Bob trying to control the map, is now we're going to see a gank in this mid lane. Apollo, that is so much damage onto the Ahri. The Charm's going to hit, and Frost just barely going to get away. The dashes are enough, and Ahri does survive. I did not think Ahri was living that one. That is actually kind of crazy. But as I was saying, Lil Uzi Bob really doing a good job keeping pressure around the map, and also Awakened just kind of playing safe when the Rakan is not around, recognizing when to be aggressive, recognizing when to back away and play safe and just try to farm. And I love that. I love that the communication is clearly there, and they're doing a really solid job of just controlling on this bot lane, which makes it really difficult for Akela to do much. That's kind of partially why we haven't seen Graves do a whole lot right now in this game, because that pressure on the bot side means there is no bot lane play that can be done. If Graves tries to invade, that is a dead Graves. You have Maokai, you have Rakan, and there is a Draven who is going to pump out enough damage for the both of them. Dragon going to be picked up here. There's going to be PSE getting that one once again. Graves heading up to this top lane, and now that is the Malphite ult, which has come up. Graves is here. A nice cask to buy some time, but I don't think there's a place Spoobert can go. A nice little smokescreen. Spoobert going to dash away. Because Akela tries to chase, they're not able to get that kill, and the wraparound means Spoobert does survive. A little bit low on health, but no real threat there for the time being. Really solid stuff, though, from Spoobert to get out of that one alive. And we'll just be able to heal up. Starting to get that AP going, and it's important for that threat. There is the ult to come in. Frost hitting the charm under the tower, but still going to be dying to that ultimate as Flopper Goblin will die once again. It is 1-for-1, but this time I think a little bit more favorable for Mythic, as they are going to get that extra gold over to the Graves, and they're going to make sure Graves can pick up at least a little bit of experience. So Zed still definitely controlling this lane, still going to have pressure on this Ahri, but has not gotten definitive wins so far. It has been trades every time. Favorable trades, but trades nonetheless. Now, this is probably going to be a point where this game slows down a little bit. We could talk a little bit about where these next couple of minutes are expected to go. I'm just going to back away. Now, granted, top lane, probably not much going to be changing here, especially as Spoobert just takes out a chunk of the Malphite health. But mid lane, this Zed has not really, I think, had the extreme control they were hoping for here. That is going to be tough. Oh my God, Spoobert, he has a family. Let him be. The cask into the queue there to get the extra damage. Flash away as Cabanet will survive. Kella is here in case of a dive, and the Malphite ult is available. Spoobert looking like it. There's the flash, not actually going to hit it, and actually Kabadit's going to turn this one around, gets the kill, and Spoobert, a little bit of a misplay, turns that lane around a little bit. Really solid stuff there. And unfortunately, Spoobert, the flash E not hitting was very, very crucial. And with that now, Graves showing on that top side does mean that we're going to see pressure on this bottom side. Maokai around and ready. Lil Uzi Bob has to run away for a sec. They're actually going to continue on this. The root actually hits, but now they're really deep under the tower. Lil Uzi Bob in trouble. Will actually get enough of a heal. WCat back under the tower and survives. There's a Zed on the outskirt ready for a re-engage. They're going to start up this blue buff here. A very interesting dive, a very scary dive. But at the end of the day, nobody loses their heads. And we do reset here. Ultimate's used, though, by this bot lane for PSE. So a little bit of a power trough for the time being. Monsoon's still available, so if they do try to go for something again, they still have that escape button. The dragon spawning here in a minute. This is a possibility for another strong soul here that can be picked up for PSE. Had control of dragons pretty solidly last time. Looking for the same this time around. And yeah, we're going to take a quick look here. I want to see what Draven is at in terms of gold. 266 on that passive stack. That is an almost 600 gold kill if anything gets picked up, and that is Akala getting caught out a flash root, and here comes Awaken. They're going to try and give it to him, and that is going to be the kill. And that is extra money to the Draven, the last thing you want to see if you're on Mythic. And Akala just kind of caught out in the middle of nowhere there. Did not have lane control on that bot side. I didn't see mid, but would not have really expected to see lane control on that side either. Akala pays the price. Like we said, that control of bot lane here for this Rakan Draven has inhibited so much on this Draven. Or sorry, on this Graves. There's no way that Graves can realistically move up and play around this, because if you do, you just die. An ultimate from Zed, Flopper Goblin trying to get the kill, not able to get the damage though, and we'll just have to back away. MTC Frost stays alive. Flopper Goblin maybe getting caught out here. Sakela's going to use that smoke screen. Flopper Goblin too far away to make the play happen. Frost almost dying to the Draven ult there. Losey Bob showing up, trying to be annoying, trying to see what they could get. They're just going to move over, start picking up more of these plates here. Tower plate's going to fall in just about 15 seconds here. They'd like to get that other plate. Not going to happen, though. Is Spoobert actually showing on this bot side here? Going to clear. Does not actually kill the minions, which means Canadian Whale will be able to survive. No, the shield keeps him alive, and Canadian Whale stays afloat. No harpooning the whale today, as Spoobert uses the ultimate and does not get the kill. And with that, they're going to move over to the Dragon. Spoobert now looking to try and get in on this action here. It's going to be started up down to about a third HP. A nice Rakan engage as they're going to go on to Canadian Whale. Dies immediately. And with that, the scatter has started and everybody's falling like flies. It is WCat next on the menu, and the Ahri falls too. 4 for nothing. And the second Dragon. PSE have cracked open the game. And it's looking very similar to the game one that we had. PSE just complete control of the map again. While they have had a couple of misplays, I think, in terms of their solo lanes here, the map control has been the biggest thing. It has kept the Graves neutered. It has kept this Ezreal from hitting the scaling points just yet. We're still waiting on that Sheen, or sorry, not on the Sheen. We're still waiting on the tier item to be finished here. And Draven's already ready to go. Like, this Draven has hit strong points. We're getting our BF sword alongside the Essence Reaver. This Draven will hit like a truck. The Malphite, not really gonna be able to tank it just yet. We're still waiting on a Mythic from this Malphite. And once again, Lil Bob just always around for this Graves, always on the map, mirroring where this jungler is. And Akella just can never get anything done. This recon movement has been insane, as ultimate will be used, not able to clean that one up as Akella flashed out to safety. Flopper Goblin also just going to catch out onto the side here. Now going for the ultimate is Flopper Goblin, trying to get onto the Ezreal, not able to do so. And that'll be the disengage there as they're going to dive on to Gabernet, who does get away. Has to ult out, though, and that's not what you want to be doing. A nice charm onto Apollo Potato, but that is a tanky boy right now. Losey Bob backs out, not hitting the knock-up. They're looking for the re-engage on this. Ezreal ult not going to hit anybody. An empty free speed Frost is way too far forward. That's the Draven damage we were looking for, and that's another Draven kill for the side of Awakened. 3-0 on this Draven. Another flash body slam not hitting. We got to stop doing those ones, buddy. They're not working. They're not hitting. Everything else, great. The casket into the Q, mwah, beautiful. We got to work on this flash body slams. Regardless, does not really seem to matter as PSE still just opening up the map. They're only 5 kills ahead, which doesn't seem like a lot until you look at the gold difference here. It is almost 10K at 17 minutes. PSE deeply in control of this game. Now, things are not done yet. Things are not sold and over. PSE, they still have to close out the game. And Mythic, they have a Malphite that's going to scale really well, right? The 2 damage threats. Obviously, Gragas exists, but Gragas is not going to be able to burst through a Malphite. And then you have all the armor stacking that Malphite is going to do. The Zed is not going to hit. The Draven is not going to hit. If you can hit that point, if you can get Ezreal online to a degree that is really scary, if you can get Malphite to a point where he is tanky enough, there is something to be said about the scaling hitting. Now, granted, Mythic need to get there. And so far, they have not shown me enough to believe that they are going to get there. This is a really aggressive engage. Losey Bob hitting the knock up there and having to flash away. Now here comes Flopper Goblin to try and clean up. Frost going to fall. Dash does not matter, and it'll be a dead Ahri. Graves backs away, and while it was a very aggressive, I think if you're not this far ahead, that is just a dead recon. But it does work out for them. They do confirm another kill. Flopper Goblin 5-2-1 on the Zed. Damage is just hitting like mad. Spoober just continuing the pressure on the Malphite, and that's all you need to do is this Gragas. You just need to keep the pressure going. Kella continuing to clear out on this bottom side of the vision. Losey Bob, though, has the dragon control. Flopper Goblin just not allowing time to breathe here for Mythic. Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. This is the sole point if PSE pick it up. Mythics are being completed. Triforce completed onto the Graves, but it's not going to mean anything if you're dead, Akella. That's a dead Graves, and Frost backs away with the dash. Losey Bob trying to go forward now. Frost pushing back, but Jungler is down and probably just a dead dragon. Once again, PSE, they take out the Graves, and they claim the objective. Sole point now over to PSE. At this point in the game, too, we're seeing Baron online, and it does just also signal how incredibly weak these towers can be at this point in the game, right? You have a Maokai who is getting pretty darn beefy with that Radiant Virtue and the Bomby Cinder. Apollo can kind of tank under here, and that's what we're going to see as there is the engage. WCat gets back out towards the tower. Ultimate going to be used as Apollo Potato has to use the Nature's Grasp just to get out here. So Awakened Glacial going to slow him down. Here comes Frost. The charm does hit as Akelo's trying to go for the fight. A nice engage there, though, and that is Zed taking out one, taking out two, and the Maokai getting one. Draven from down long, and Flopper Goblin does not even die. It's a complete sweep. Gaboddit just on the other side of the map wondering where the team is gone. And it does not matter. Now we're going to dive onto this Malphite who is going to fall. Apollo able to tank it up freely. And that is the ace. That is the inhibitor tower. Most likely going to fall here shortly. This inhibitor will be next. Canadian Whale. You're not going to be pushing anybody off just yet. Ezreal and Graves alive though. So they are backing off to avoid the threat. And on the way out, we're just going to see everything taken away. This is the control of the map that you want to see from a team that is winning, right? You want to not just leave, you want to take everything with you. Take away any ability to generate gold, as now we're seeing a 15,000 gold lead. 16,000 gold lead on the side of Mythic, against Mythic. PSE ahead a lot of gold right now. We are talking multiple items. I think the best example of this too is just look at the Draven items versus the Ezreal. We're still trying to finish that tier item. Meanwhile, Draven has 3 items that he is juggling currently. And Ezreal's just holding the pieces together really sad. Baron going to be started up here, and why the hell not? Because Mythic cannot do anything about this. They cannot control this. They can't walk up to it. The threat is too strong of any kind of engaged. Spoobert now going to be going under the tower, uses the barrel, will take the Ahri there. Doesn't even die in the process. Spoobert, you gotta... These are scary times, man. I'm a little concerned at the willingness to jump under this tower, but Spoobert comes out clean, comes out ahead. Ezreal not going to hit anything, but Ezreal will be around. Spoobert just going to run away. WCat wants to take this here, actually ease away. The flash does not hit, and now we're seeing engages in the mid lane here as the Graves beating back under those double towers will survive, as Canadian Whale does as well. They don't get the kills, but they get the pushback, and that's all they really wanted. Flopper Goblin now trying to pressure out on this Malphite who has to flash away. This tower is next on the menu as another inhibitor is the goal. Awakened can push forward. There is no Malphite ult. There's no solid engage. MTC Frost still waiting on the Ahri ultimate here. A nice tornado. Not going to get anything. Apollo Potato now, frontlining here, trying to get this inhibitor down. DC Frost taken to half health, has to back the kill threat from Draven Zed. It is there, it is real, it is scary. You do not want it. Nice barrel. Let's just do half health to Janna. Why not? Why don't we do that? Spoober just tosses it and walks away. And once again, the control of the map, take everything with you, and the control of the Dragon Pit as well. We're going to see the soul almost assuredly picked up here. Waves are trying to get pushed out by Mythic, but they're not able to do so. It's just too many strong super minions pushing in onto the Ezreal. It's just going to be the Cloud Soul. And that is a scary soul to have on a Rakan, right? Like, you don't want to have Rakan pop the Shirelias pop the ult and get the cloud buff and just zoom at Mach 13 directly into your team is a terrifying prospect. Now we're seeing the Nature's Grasp start a nice knock up on in the Malphite, and he's the only tank they have. Gonna go down. Lil Uzi Bob gonna survive with the help of the Redemption now, and the tower will fall. No protection, so they back away. Stuber in a little bit of trouble, and nice ult from Canadian Well, but the double kill gets picked up for Awaken. They're gonna back away now. Exhaust hit onto the Draven, who is alone, but they're gonna go on to this Ari. Frost falls, and it is 2 versus the world here. Akela and WCat, but WCat not gonna survive as well as Akela. It's all done. It doesn't matter. PSE dominating throughout tonight. We'll pick up the 2-0, and it wasn't even close. PSE dominant tonight to a degree that I have not seen in a while. Really, really good stuff. And that is going to be the series for Nightfall. And man, I am just impressed. I am just very impressed with Nightfall, because it's not just the level of play. Obviously, we saw a lot of really good solo plays. We saw Flopper Goblin getting a couple of solo kills. We saw the Draven coming in clutch at a lot of crucial points. And we saw Lil Uzi Bob really, really strong play on this Rakan. But it's the fact that it was all done together. It was the fact that we moved up and set up a kill for the Draven. It was the fact that Lil Uzi Bob was always around this Draven, or sorry, this Graves, and keeping Graves from doing anything. There was never an option for Akela to do anything. And that is all because the Rakan was just always in the face of this Graves. I am very, very impressed. And like I said multiple times, just every time they took objectives, take everything else with you. Do not allow them the opportunity to generate any gold for a comeback. Nightfall, not only individually strong, but as a unit as well. Just very, very impressed. And I'm excited to see where this team goes from here, because that is really, really good stuff. Now, with that, I don't know why it's saying that. Man, the scores are messed up. I apologize. I'm hitting the things. It's just not working on my end. I don't know why. Let me see if I can fix that. I believe the VOD will exist. The VOD will exist on Twitch, so do not worry about that one. But that will, I believe we'll be okay on that one. If there's issues with that, you're gonna have to talk to the people that run Style. I'll be honest, I come here and I talk. That's what I do. I don't have any influence on what Style does. I just get paid to speak and say funny words. But with that, we are going to be leaving for the night. I'm going to stop saying funny words, and we are going to go on a break until tomorrow. But I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for dealing with me, as I am trying to run everything on my own. And I appreciate all the support. So hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys tomorrow.